Beep, 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 beep. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Followers of the EDI Jester, I'm back on the Earl Grey today. It's becoming a feature rather than a bug. How are you? All right? Come be a warrior teacher, buy me a end of the month. Super thanks. You know, join my Substack if you really want to support me over the longer term. That'd be great. Thank you very much indeed for those of you that do. My enormous thanks. I can never thank everybody for all the kindness that you do, the little kindness of strangers. My Jurassic Park thing's fallen off. Has it? No. Just I keep thinking it has because of the light. What's going on in my head? Right. I know what's going on in my head. I'm in shock. Shock, nay, surprise. As today, we're going to talk about dilation. Right? Whoever thought we'd be having this conversation? Judy Bindle put up, dear God, you know, what's this? And I was like, this can't be real. But yeah, it was. Yeah, it was, right? If you don't know what I'm talking about yet, you're in for a bit of a shock. Because it's quite shocking. In some ways, it's quite shocking. In other ways, it's pathetic. But it's quite shocking, right? So, you know, we're going to celebrate and dilate. Celebrate, dilate, come on. No, let's not, right? This is in the Daily Mail, the Daily Fail. And it says here that the transgender ex-Labour MSP candidate, Heather Herbert, that's a great word, Herbert, Herbert, defends her decision to share a photo of herself performing a post-surgery dilation exercise in a disabled toilet at Gatwick Airport. Come fly with me. No, thank you. I'd rather not. Come fly away. I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be on my back again. You have to see it to believe it. It's in the Dubridge, right? So let's just put the title correct before we start anything else. Ex-Labour MP, MSP man, candidate Heather Herbert defends his decision to share a photo of him performing a post-surgery dilation exercise in a disabled toilet at Gatwick Airport. Right? A transgender former Labour MSP candidate has today defended his decision. I'm replacing the hers with his, right? Has defended his decision to use an airport's disabled toilet to do dilation exercise following his gender reassignment surgery, right? Which is a you know a fancy word for cutting your cock and balls off. He was returning from London after it says male to female surgery. That's not possible. So I'm going to say London after the cosmetic surgery, which he referred to as V-Day on Twitter. Now, I'm assuming that V-Day means, you know, Vagina Day. It's not vagina, mate. Right, okay, it's not vagina. I don't know whether you get the idea it is. It's a hole. I'm dilating my vagina. Strange thing to do. Other than for certain reasons. All right, it is. Okay. Thinks he's got a vagina. You haven't got a vagina, you've got a hole. That's it. Herbert, I love it. If you use his last name, is E in it? Herbert was a Labour member who stood for the party and voted for Scottish independence, but has now joined the Greens. Oh, can I be surprised? I'll go over there with them. Why? Because they're equally mad. Save the earth. I'm on my way. I'm just in the toilet. I know it's awful. I shouldn't mock him. Right? But he's chosen this. Sorry, you chose it. He went to join the Greens, claiming Sir Keir Starmer's party took no interest in tackling transphobia among members. Why would he? If he continues to push what he's pushing, there's a possibility that when the Labour Party could have won one of the biggest elections in their entire pathetic history when it comes to getting elected. There's a good reason for that, mind, because they're a better opposition when they work well, they're a brilliant opposition. That's the point, right? That's why Conservatives have been in far more than Labour, because Labour are a brilliant opposition. I think that's the way that the equation should work. But that's just me, okay? So he took no way to tackling transphobia among members. It's not transphobic to say you're a bloke, right? It's not transphobic to say that's not a vag, okay? Is it, right? Okay? It's a hole. It's not transphobic to say stay out of women's spaces. It's not transphobic to say get your gender identity nonsense out of schools. It's not transphobic to say that any organisation that is involved in this should be investigated, seriously investigated, right, by Preventer. That's what I think. It's not homophobic to do that. Is anybody saying any of those things in the Labour Party? Is it? Hey, Herbert? He posted an image of himself lying on the floor of a disabled loo. What are you doing in the disabled toilets? What are you doing in the disabled toilet? If there was a disabled person that was waiting outside while you were, I nearly said fanning about, while you were messing around, while you were messing around, what are you doing in the disabled toilet? He was the disabled loo at Gatwick doing dilation exercises. Exercises? Right. It's not that, is it? No, it's not. We don't need to know, okay? That's like me lying on the disabled toilet in Gatwick and taking a photo. The EDI jester gently palpates his piles whilst contemplating the transphobia of the Labour Party. Could you imagine? Stuffing them back up with a pencil, he defended. What the f is going on? He said, I found a disabled toilet, not the most fun I've had. No, I imagine not, since you've done what you've done to your body. Earlier he tweeted, Dilation Day 2, let's play. My God. Where in an airport can I locate a clean, dry, private place where I can lie down, take my knickers off and spread my legs? But it's not a fetish, right? It's not, you know, so if I did have piles, like a bunch, like I had to stuff back up occasionally, do you think I'd stand up in public and go, where can I find a dark, clean room where I can lie down and put this bunch of piles back up my bum using my index finger? Anybody in Iceland know? Problem in aisle 5. Why would you do that? Because it's a fetish, because it's about validation, because this has got nothing to do with anything except look at me. Narcissism, right? His tweets led to criticism, including several claiming it was the wrong idea to share it. One critic said, you should delete it, to which he replied, why? That's exactly what he wanted, the affirmation he wanted. Justifying it to another critic, he replied that he was sharing a photo of how I was forced, you weren't forced, you chose it, forced to perform a medical procedure due to all other facilities being airside, beyond passport and customs control. What do you want, a dilation facility? Why don't you just keep it permanently dilated? Can you not wear something up there? People do that, do they? I don't know. People do weird things. I don't know. So that was where we were, right? Some surgeons use a method called, patients of having gender reassignment surgery, that's cosmetic surgery to mutilate the body, spend at least 3 days in the hospital and 2 weeks banned from doing any strenuous physical activity. Oh, rather like somebody that hasn't actually, you know, a serious operation that's needed. Yeah. Some surgeons use a method called penile inversion. Yeah, it is what you think it is, right? Do you remember a film? There was a film years ago called Society. And it was a film that was about how the rich and the elites feed off everybody else. It was a fascinating film. Brian Usna was the director. But there was one particular piece in it that I thought was brilliant, which is where they stuck their hand up a bloke's bum and pulled him inside out. Think the same thing, but with a dick. Okay? This creates a tunnel. I mean, this is the Daily Mail saying this, right? This creates a tunnel which turns into the new vagina. No, it doesn't. It just creates a tunnel which closes if you don't do things with it. In this case, in Gatwick Airport. Can you imagine that one? Now, I need you to go to Gatwick Airport. All right, Doc. All right, Doc, I'm going now. There's no new vagina. You can't create a vagina. What the hell is wrong with you? This is the Daily Mail saying this. You can't create a vagina. What? Vagina creators. You can't. You can create what, you know, might painfully in some ways look like or vaguely resemble a vagina. Can't you? Facius fanio. You can do that, can't you? Not a vagina. What the hell are you talking about, Daily Mail? Get your head round it. It's mad. You're all mad. The tunnel is lined with skin from the scrotum, the penis, or both, if you've got enough. Now, Susie Green, as you remember, we've got her on video saying, you know, oh, my son only had such a tiny penis, so they had to use other bits of his body to line the bloody hole. The tunnel is lined with skin from the scrotum of the penis, or both. If there isn't enough skin there, the surgeon may take skin from somewhere else on the body. They take it from the colon, you know, in some cases, and the smell never goes. Can you imagine that? How's your fake fanny? Shit. I shouldn't joke. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. But I can't help myself because it's so mad. The surgery is done under general anaesthesia. You think? Right, we're going to remove your John Thomas and your clackers. We're having them, right? Okay, so I'm just going to give you a local anaesthetic. What? The majority of people spend 3 days in hospital afterwards. Recovery from the procedure can take up to 3 months and needs intensive post-operative care. No, it doesn't. You never recover. It's a 100% failure rate. 100% failure rate. Get your head around that. 100% failure rate. Extraordinary, isn't it? Absolutely extraordinary. Patients will need to dilate daily. Horrible. Awful. Dreadful thing to have to do. The body initially treats the vaginoplasty, they call it. It's not vaginoplasty. Like, it's just, it isn't that at all, right? Plastic vagina. Like a wound, meaning that dilation must be performed by the patient so the new vagina does not close. It's not a vagina, right? Nothing could be finer than to have a fake vagina in the morning. It's not a vagina. Daily dilation ends after 12 weeks in some cases. Not the ones I know. Other doctors recommend daily dilation for the rest of the patient's life. Why are we allowing this? It's medical malpractice on a grand scale. Herbert was born in Leicester but moved to Scotland. He voted for independence 4 years later, I don't know why this is relevant, and joined the Scottish Labour, saying that he was hoping to move the party to the left, but failed. Thank goodness for that. He doesn't think Scotland's to the left. It's worrying, but there's a worrying bit from him too, and this is the worrying bit from him, and I'll leave it at that because you can go and read the rest yourself. He talks about education. One of the areas he identified where trans visibility could play a major role in winning the normalisation of trans identity is that of elected members, and so with that he stood in the 2019 general election. And he says that he worked with members at all levels of the party to try and eradicate transphobia through education. We're not normalising this, okay? It needs to be put back where it belongs, in the closet of a medical problem, and done in such a way that people don't think you can be this when it's just a fake thing. Mental illness is not an identity. It's not identified as schizophrenic. Do you? Yes, we do. Is that what you're saying? You know? I identify. That's not to say that we don't have people understand what mental problems are. People used to think, I never used to understand schizophrenia. We understand it much better now. Bipolar, people didn't understand. What I'm saying to you is that we're not normalising it, right? Because it affects gays and lesbians and women, and it affects young gay men. It affects young gay men who get caught up in this and end up doing what you've done, and the next thing you know, you're flat on your back in some room in a bloody airport. It's insane, isn't it? I'll see you later.